Hello YouTubers. So what we have here is a FordFocus which I've been fixing up. First time I've ever worked on a FordFocus, so first time I've ever worked on a Ford other than a Transit, so it's a bit of a learning experience for me as well. So the problem we've come across is this is a new door that's been fitted. This door here is the old door. Now I've transplanted everything across, basically plugged in the connection, and it's not locking. The window wiper isn't, apologies, the window regulator isn't working either. So my best guess is it's something to do with the security. So what I've decided to do is transplant all the internals from the old door, which you can see sitting here, and I've decided if I transplant all the internals, then obviously the car system is going to see the same setup and hopefully will actuate the door. I went looking on YouTube for some advice on how to strip these doors down. Couldn't find anything, so what I've decided to do is make a little video just to show you how I'm going to approach taking the thing apart. Like I say, it's the first time I've ever worked on them, so if you are looking at this and thinking, oh, he's making hard work of it, please feel free to comment and tell me a better way. Okay, we'll get into it. So I've already made a start on this door, as you can see. I've been using a T30, T25, also a T15, and 10mm and 8mm bolts. So just to explain what I've done today, I've tried to take it apart to a fair way just to speed it up. So taking this off, just using a screwdriver underneath here, screwdriver underneath here, that pops away. So having taken that off, you've got two positions here and here. This is the bolt that comes out, so this is an 8mm metric. So having taken that out, I've then worked my way around the edge with a screwdriver, just popping the clips. What I've also done is pop this up, so this hasn't got any bolts to it, it's just a push fit with a little plastic clip on the back of it. You can see those, they engage in a little clip behind there. Exposed it and taken out the plastic clip. So you can see here, this is just one of these pushing clips. Push that in and that lets it disengage. Okay, so they're all the bits that I've taken out so far to try and speed things up. So having done that and pulled this up, this comes loose, and you just keep pulling, it will pop away, nothing breaks as such, and that is exposes the mechanism. So with the mechanism exposed, you can see these Fords have got a pressing where everything has been mounted onto it. That speaker is actually riveted, and it's just grommets coming through this pressing. Now the thing that I found is that this here is locking this pressing in, and also the regulator of the actual winder motor is actually screwed through this pressing, but also connecting to the window structure. So to be able to take this off, I needed to expose the mechanism and pull this away. So just to speed things up, again, I'll just show you these 10mm bolt. These actually adjust in several locations around the edge. There's one there, one there, one there, one there, one there, one behind there, one there, sorry, apologies, one there, and one there. So just unscrewing those, as I say, that loosens things off. It has got a little rubber seal behind it, but it does allow that to float. As I say, it allows it to float right the way around until you get here, and then that's still fast down. So I've also stripped off the rubbers that were here and here, just to make life a bit easier, and I've also exposed the window mechanism release bolts, which are actually here and here. Okay, so those are just access panels, so they're just a bit of foam that's glued down. I've tried to recover it neatly so I can glue them back on and make a half decent job of it. First things first, I've popped the electrics off the window winder motor. Again, it's one of these little press-ins. This one's actually one of these shielded ones, so you can get a screwdriver behind it when it's vertical like that. Yep. So the trick is you've pushed that in far enough and then it will disengage and pull up. So that's off. I've then taken these three T30 Torx out of these three positions there, there and there. So removing those means that I can then disengage this whole piece. Now what I would say is that that was a little bit of a tight fit. I'll just leave it up with a screwdriver. It was just a little bit of a rattle to get it loose, but it did come out, and as I say, it's a nice clean unit. So obviously Ford have tried to make these as quick as possible to put together and pull apart when you need to. So having gotten everything pretty much stripped, just taken the little T15 out of that, lifted it up. There's just like a little plastic sleeve over the shoulder. Don't lose it. It's that will anchor that down there. So having done that, this is not to be broken. Just pull it sideways. See, that's a little sleeve inside there that slides into. So that's actually going through that door mech, so that should come out as a complete piece, or at least I'm expecting it to. Okay, speaker, that's not going to get touched. I'm just going to disengage the clip for that. So I'll look to just disengage that with a little. Okay, so we're halfway through this now. So look, the cabling's come out fairly easily. I've just used a couple of clips. I lost my cable puller, so I'll just use the clip behind it, start it off, lift it up. Be careful not to close it on the actual cables, it will cut them. These things are fairly sharp. That basically gives you the whole wiring loom, which can then just be pushed through there. So that will give you the ability to just recover it all out the front door and onto that clip. So the idea here is we're not actually cutting any of the wiring loom, we're leaving it complete, so I can just put it straight onto the door with the existing lock from this door, remembering that this door here is the old door for this vehicle. So that door there is the door that I'm looking to fit. It's just that unfortunately the electrics have decided not to work when I've come to fit it. I have checked the connections. It is registering. For some reason they're just not working. So I wasn't able to do it while I was videoing it, unfortunately, but what I've effectively done is just stood the door vertically and used both hands either side of the window and just pushed down, sandwiching it. Because the regulator is now off, that little, you can just see there the edge of the gears. I'll just try and do it while I'm videoing it. As I push down on the window, I'm actually able to move that. So I'm leaving the door flat, so obviously I don't put my fingers in there and get them nicked off or anything like that. So that's why the door is flat. I say I just stood it up to start it off, and then it's gone pretty easily. What you can see is with the window, approximately halfway down, it's actually placed the bolts of the window regulator connecting the sandwich that connects the window to the actual bolt nicely in line for those holes. So I can get those off next, and that will disconnect the window winder mechanism from the actual glass. So you can see now that the actual bolts are out of that mechanism. I recovered them using long needle nose pliers. Yeah, these are a bit sharp, these edges, so probably don't stick your hands in it. So both are out, and I should be able to recover the window back up now and leave the mechanism behind. So I'm just going to lever this off. That's one piece of glass off, there we go. So you can see there we have a disconnect. We've left the mechanism behind, the mechanism's not moving, and yet I can move the glass. Okay, so the next steps I'm looking at is taking out this bottom section. I think this is just a plastic stay, having lifted this up. I'll show you this better when I've actually exposed the inside of the door. But from what I can see, it's just a piece of plastic that runs up and supports this. So I'm hoping that's going to come off with those plastic rivets. So that's off. And there's also 3 T25s, which are actually just there to hold the door lock in place. I've already done 3, so we can do it all off just to make life easy. Little baby, there you go. Okay, so I've taken all those out now. Also pop a little clip off of there. I'm not sure if I actually need access to that, but I just want to make it as obvious as possible. I have exposed these as well. It's just strip 100-mile-an-hour tape. You can see it there. Whether you change it or not for fresh stuff, I just reuse the old one. I probably can just reuse the old one. So I'm about to just try and get this whole panel off and see what it does next. Okay, so we've got this plate loose now, and the door lock has moved away from the actual frame. What we do have to do is take out this chunk here. If you look inside that hole there, which is just on the side of the door next to the lock, you can just see, or maybe you can't, just try and put a bit of shade on it, but in the back there you've got a T15 screw. When you've loosened the T15 screw, this section here will clip out. That then allows you to lift up the door lock and pull it backwards, disengaging the hooking mechanism from the plastic lever on the side of the mechanism. That just comes out there, fairly simple. Nice little system actually. I like that system. Recover the grommets. We got one T20, I believe. So we're on the final throws now. So that mechanism, once we took off the front door lock, taking off the T20, and just the whole thing, if you get hold of it with the speaker head and that cable and pull it downwards, you'll find the whole thing slides out. Now from that, you just keep sliding it out. As you can see, there's a couple of plastic gubbins at the back there. Just got to make sure locking sliding mechanism there isn't hooked around the back of the door frame. As soon as you get that out, the whole thing releases. So we've unhooked that arm from behind the door. And away we go. That is the full door lock mechanism. I'll just show you it from behind so you can make sense of the various bits and pieces. So this is the handle. There's the mechanism to engage. That there is what you're actually pulling on when you open the handle from the outside. Obviously that's the skin of the door there. Here you got the winding mechanism. One thing I did find when I was taking the first one apart was that screw doesn't need to be taken out the whole way. It makes life a lot easier if you leave it in actually. It's just a clamp as it were with a screw, so that just nips the glass between those two arms there. So what I'm going to do now is basically change the entire unit that you see here for the one that came out of the original door. So I'm going to reassemble it the same way as we're just taking it apart, and yeah, that should hopefully see us up and running.